All right, here we go. It is 6:59, and I am live. I'm gonna see if Kaiser's going to join today. If not, I get started here shortly. We should have a good episode today. We'll probably be online for anywhere from 30 to about 45 minutes. If there's a lot of Q&A at the end, we might stay on. I don't know, maybe an hour. But it's 2021, so it is time to get it. It's January 3rd. Um, Hopefully, everybody had a long extended break. I know I did. I've been off for the last week and a half. You might as well say the last 2 weeks because those last few days, I wasn't really doing too much work. So, but I feel great. I feel energized. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to continue the progress that I made in 2020 for us investing into 2021. And I'm trying to build up enough equity in these stocks and build up my portfolio to the point where um, I can walk away from my 85, which is, I think, most people's dreams and aspirations. So that's what this channel is all about. For those who are unfamiliar with me, my name is the Minority Investor. Well, that's what I go by. My parents my birth name is Terry Clark, but I go by the Minority Investor. I've been investing for the last 5 years, and in the last year and a half, I've really been reaching out to those who minorities. So when I say minorities, I don't mean African American, or I mean anybody who's not part of the 1% population that kind of rules the world based on the amount of wealth that they have. So what I do, I try to educate people on the basics of basic fundamentals of investing, because I think, like with anything, you need to know the rules or the basics to be successful. And a lot of people, when they start investing, kind of like I was when I first started, like, all right, I'm investing. Tell me what stock to buy. Tell me what stock to sell. What's the hot stock? There's Kaiser. Let me go ahead and let him in here. There you go, brother. I was just getting started. I was just kind of babbling on, just talking about why I kind of started this channel. I was just telling them, one of the reasons I focus on fundamentals and teaching fundamentals, because I think a lot of people kind of overlook that. When they first get into investing, they just, kind of like I was, like, tell me what stock to buy, tell me what stock to sell, and they really never really learn. And and if you don't, then it's kind of dangerous because if I tell you when to buy and tell you when to sell, if you
Yeah.
can't reach me, yeah, you might be in trouble. So, or whoever your advice you're following. So, I like to teach the fundamentals, everything from what is investing, why do companies go public, how do you research companies, what to invest in, how to do proper research, and so that's what it's all about today. So, how you doing, brother?
Hey man, I'm like super good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
It's
Just fine. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I just hope there's no background noise around that. This
Nope, I hear
setting
you
here.
perfectly fine.
Yeah. I got this for Christmas. Somebody got me this for Christmas.
Mm, where my damn book at? Oh, my daughter's in the room. I got mine's on the dresser. You know what? Hold on, so I can show the audience.
Uh,
Okay, I lied. Okay, I lied. I let somebody borrow it. Where's my damn? I know I got it, but I let somebody
my
borrow
wife,
it.
my wife got me this for Christmas, bro. For
Yeah.
Christmas. I'm like,
So I know I got the
you
hard copy. Who got my book? I know I got a like a
maybe
digital
you borrowed
copy
it
as
to
well.
somebody. Maybe you
Yeah,
lent it
like
to somebody.
I think so. I think my friend Markeith. Yeah, I think Markeith got. I loaned Markeith 2 books. He got my book, the Honeymoon Effect as well. I got to get that. But yeah, I love my books, man.
Oh, that's cool. I'm like, man, I think I have the audio version of the one by Anthony Robinson.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think Money Master the Game.
right.
Have you seen that book?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's also very good. Like it's a book that I actually have the audio version of that, so I try to
Okay.
listen to it anytime I'm in the bus, in the train, or in the
Yeah,
ride, anywhere. Yeah, so that and it's also not bad. Like it's very good. Like yeah. Uh,
that's important,
how,
man, because a lot of people, you don't. I mean, you could follow influencers, you could go to YouTube, but sometimes just good old reading, man. Just get you a book, kind of
Yeah.
read. Like you say, podcast. I'll be at the gym listening to my
Mhm.
podcast. I'll be driving when I'm going out of town, listening to podcasts or YouTube videos or audiobooks, and you can learn a lot. 5, 10 minutes a day, man. Don't take that long.
Yeah. Sometimes what people don't know is um, one of the effects of reading is it stimulates the brain. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Apart from the information that you get to absorb or the information that you get to learn or you get to know about, it it really it really helps the brain. And there's one interesting thing I've seen here
Hmm.
um, in America most of the time at subways, train stations. Like sometimes when I'm
Oh
taking the
yeah.
train, yeah, you get to see a lot of people um, using their time or investing in their time wisely by holding fat books that they are reading. You know,
Yeah.
and that is like super cool for me. I think it's a very good thing. Just as we spend money, that's the same way we also spend time.
Hmm.
We don't waste time. Time. By all means, you end up putting something into the time that you have. So I believe like if we're going to do this for 1 hour, within that 1 hour, we're going to spend that time on something,
Right.
and we are going to cash out in terms of what we spend the time or what we spend
Sorry.
within the time. So um, it's very good for me personally. This week I've been like a bit busy,
Oh yeah.
normal work season like this at Apple is like, back and forth. Yeah.
Right.
So, but apart from that, once a while I try to read Yahoo Finance to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I try, I try also to uh, look through some Bloomberg updates to see what's going on.
Yep.
I have CNBC also at home, so I
Hmm.
try to also go into CNBC, listen what's going on.
Yep.
Uh, Jim Cramer and all his people and what they are saying and stuff like that. Yeah, so I've been trying to catch up. I know you are like far away there, like you are far gone, but I'm
Man,
trying
I'm not as far as you think I am, man. I'm like you. Everything you just said, I do the same thing. And you'll be amazed if anybody's listening. If one of the things I did is two things that you pointed on. I actually got embarrassed to start reading. Like, I wasn't a big reader, and then when my daughter was born and started going to school, she's this avid reader, man. If I show you, like right behind her room, there's just a ton of books like on her dresser, and she was reading so much, I got embarrassed. Like, I wasn't reading, so she's like, take me to the library, and I was like, wow, like, so I just really started reading to encourage her as well. Well, actually, she encouraged me. So that's one big thing, and then another thing, people who trying to gain knowledge, if you'll stop following people who add no value in your life on social media, if you use it, that helps a lot. I stopped following a lot of nonsense influencers and just random people, and I started following, people for financing and things that could actually benefit me in life. And you'll be surprised because of cookies and the way the internet work, how they'll push that information to you. So as soon as I go to Google, MSN,
yeah.
all that finance and investing information is just right there in my face a lot of times.
Mm, mm, that's you remember I shared a book with I think somebody's page about a finance book that he has written for kids for
Hmm.
2 years plus.
Yeah.
I was just going through some of these random posts on IG myself, Instagram, and I saw I'm
Right.
like, wow, this is cool for somebody to come out with something like that to encourage the culture, to encourage people, um, people of color, stuff like that, to get them to understand it at a very young age. I think it's a great thing to do. And reading is something that a lot of people find it difficult doing. Um, there could be so many reasons why, but you have to learn to know which one works for you. That is why, apart from the book itself, there are audio versions of it. Some people like to play it in their car. Some people, you know, uh, like to use, just as you said, when they're in the gym, podcast and audiobooks and all that. I think all those ones are like great. Um, but once in a while, you want to pick a book to read, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear
So,
you, brother.
yeah, once in a while, you want to pick a book to read. And Thank God for the period that we are in right now. We are seriously in the information age. There's a lot of information out there that, if you make yourself available to it, you'll be able to access it. Another important thing is the kind of people that you have in your circle. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, just as you said, yeah, if you used to follow some particular stuff on social media
Yeah,
and it's not really helping, then all of a sudden,
not at
then you
all.
have to do the turn around. Like, you have to do the turn around. So if you don't do that, you'll be influenced by what you watch, what you read, what you see, and all that. Yeah.
Cool. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's 2021, man. Let's get these people what they want. Let's talk about the stock
Yep.
market.
Yep. Yep.
For those who have not started investing yet, I advise you to open up a broker's account tomorrow. And for those who are investing, let's find a way that you could double your money this year. If not, maybe even triple your money. So as
Mm-hmm.
always, let's just kind of look at we're on finviz.com as always. Let's just look at let's look at last week's performance. And like what do you
Okay.
see here? So you got the top three, I do the bottom three.
Okay. Uh, let me jump onto Fimbase real quick to see what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I'll
kind
start
of.
with the bottom three while you're loading. So the bottom three in the
Okay.
last week was energy. Energy was down 1%. If anybody's been following, energy has been down pretty much all year. The pandemic has really hurt the energy sector, and it might potentially even get worse. It rebounded a little bit in the last month or two, but with the transition to clean energy, energy has really been hurting. Then the second is healthcare. It wasn't down. It was even though it's in the bottom three, it was actually up 0.35%. It's really been going up here in the last month or so since President-elect Biden, is set to take office. So a lot of people think healthcare is going to be revamped because his administration. And then the bottom three, to round out the bottom three, is technology, which is like 0.4%. Tech has really went up a lot this year, and so it's been a little volatile here lately in the last 2 or 3 months. But it always seems to bounce back. You can't avoid technology, so that's the bottom
Mm.
three for this week or last week.
Yep. Yep. And I see. So you did. I see utilities, right?
Hmm.
That's the first one. That's the one I'm supposed to take, right? Or which one am I doing?
Yeah, you're doing the top three. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we
I'll
have the
make it bigger.
utilities, and we can see a very long ride there. Utilities there. We also have financials and consumer defense.
Yep. Consumer
That
defensive.
actually, I want to find out what I wanted to really find out what that really
So
is.
consumer
What?
defensive is pretty much all the day-to-day products that you need to live.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like,
okay, okay, okay.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know, whatever you basic things that you require to live, you that's what consumer defensive is. So that's
Okay,
that
okay,
sector,
okay,
and it makes
okay.
sense. I mean, we're all at home. I mean, there's certain things we can't go without, right? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so
That's true. I'm expecting this week starting from tomorrow, because of the stimulus check,
right.
in and out for financials to take another 10, probably to go up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed on that because when you look at utilities going up, and with financial being the second one, some of these banks are rebounding. But yeah, I got my stimulus check. I didn't get the whole 600, but they gave me a few dollars, and I'm gonna invest mine. But a lot of people is still spending the money,
Yeah.
regardless of
I,
what you do.
I
So
think when it comes to that particular situation or that particular money, actually, it's interesting because um, for some people, they may definitely not invest it because they need the money to sort out some few things, which I understand them. Like, everybody was wishing it was going to be 2,000, but then all of a
yeah,
sudden the table turned around. But I always say that as little as you have, if there is a need for you to use it, uh, why not just use it for that particular important need? It's
yeah,
not everybody that will be able to use that to invest. But if you are in the category whereby you are in the position to invest some, I do the 50-30-20 rule.
hmm
Anytime money comes into my hand, anytime.
50, 30, 20
So,
rule. I like that one. Okay.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
do. So 50 goes into my bills, my utilities, or those payments that I have, stuff like that. 30 goes into anything emergency fund related kind of a thing, savings and all that. Then I put the 20 into my investment. Sometimes I do a 10 of uh, it the other way around. Sometimes I put the 30 into investment and 20 into emergency and
Okay.
all that,
Yeah.
irrespective of what comes into my hand. Because I realize that it's not how much sometimes you make, but how much you're able to invest and save. That would
I agree.
always help you. Yeah. So if you receive 600 and you feel there is an important need for you to use it for a fine, nobody is holding you. You can do that. Yeah. But
Right.
if not, invest some. So utilities we can see right there, and utilities and financials. I believe those areas are really going to shoot up in the coming week because money
Yeah.
is going to come into people's hands.
Yeah.
Um, I work in the mall where I see a lot of people. Trust me, every day the
Man.
place is full. I'm telling you, people are buying,
Yeah.
people are shopping, and you ask yourself, I thought there was no money in people's pockets, but people are still shopping, people are still buying. Yeah, and I see it a lot, and sometimes I have people coming to me, my workplace, who are into other offices like car dealers, people who own their own businesses and stuff like that, and you try to find out what is going on their end, and they tell you everything is moving all right.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is moving all right. So we should see most of these areas shooting up in the coming weeks, including the consumer defense. Yes.
Okay. Man, you dropped so many jewels there. I don't, it might have went over some people's head because you said the 50/30/20 rule, how you manage your money. Um, I don't know if you know about the 70/30 rule. I learned that actually from Mark Monroe. We could talk about that later. So that's a
Okay.
another different strategy, but that was kind of cool that you said that. And then another thing that you said that was really cool is, how you work in a mall and how you see, I guess, the amount of traffic picking up or returning back to the norm. And why that's so important is like this is just your normal daily life. You're at work,
Mhm.
but in your everyday life and surroundings, you could see different things that you could correlate to the stock market. So, like you said, one thing that I noticed a few months ago is like, man, there's so much traffic. It wasn't this much traffic a month ago. Like, okay, so what does that tell you? Like, okay, more people are driving, more fuel is being used, so maybe the energy sector might backed up. More people feel comfortable going out, so maybe restaurant business and businesses are picking up, and it all correlates back to the market. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And just so people are wondering, like, hey, why do we code a FinViz and kind of look at these different sectors? Man, that's kind of another thing, just to kind of see which way the industry is moving, the market is moving, and it kind of gives you a little indication of some, okay, maybe I should invest in, the consumer defensive sector because, it's been going up the last week or the last month. So you can kind of see some trends here, and that's kind of why we kind of look at this every day. And if you go click on this maps over here, and I know financial was in the top three, and you can kind of see some of the financial stocks that actually went up last Friday, like PayPal, JP Morgan and Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. As much bad publicity Wells Fargo has got this last 2 or 3 years, their stock is
Yeah.
performing actually kind of well. So but anyway, the gist of today's is to learn about ETFs. So let me see if I could bring that up.
Sweet. That's nice.
It's all about the
I should
ETFs.
have this, right? I think you sent me this, right?
I think so. If
Yeah.
not, I can always resend it, but I
Yeah.
think I sent it. So what's cool about ETFs? Ah, cool, it worked. All right. Yep.
Yep.
So I know last week we discussed index funds and you know what? Hold on, my dog trying to get out. That's crazy. Sorry. That's weird.
That's all right.
Stop. My daughter's dog. All right.
Yeah.
She almost got out too. That was close. And we discussed what are index funds and why you should invest in index funds, and primarily because of to diversify your portfolio. An index fund is diversification. And so now we're going to talk about ETFs. And ETFs are very similar to index funds. It's basically a collection of securities, such as stocks. And so, why would you want to invest in a ETF? Well, like I just said, it's all about diversification.
Okay.
One thing that my parents told me, you might have people might know this phrase: "Don't put all your eggs in one basket."
In one basket. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing with the stock market. Like you can, I mean, people have put their life savings in Tesla and they got lucky and they're millionaires, but there's also people put their life savings in a company and it went the other way and it was just a bad decision. But at least when you diversify, one stock goes down and one goes up, it kind of balance each other out, unless you kind of mitigate some of the risks. And that's what you're doing when you're buying or investing in an ETF. It's a collection of stocks. And what's cool about that, you see some of the pros and cons of investing in ETF. Let's just look at some of the pros. Like I said,
Mhm.
one of the pros is many stocks across various industries. So we just got through looking at finviz.com and we were seeing the different sectors and we actually kind of briefly looked at some of the industries. But let's say you just wanted to invest in the energy sector,
Yeah.
you could pick one etl that pretty much covers a variety of stocks. So actually, let me just bring it up. It might be better if I could actually show you. So one thing that's cool about me being live, you get to see all my bookmarks. Every last one of them, which I don't care, but all right. All right. So let's just look at some ETFs. So if you were in the industry sector, now let's go finance. So there's ETFs that cover finance. So let's just say, oh man, I know the financial sector is going to do well, which we just discussed. And you can't afford to buy a Visa, a Mastercard, JP Morgan. Well, you can actually buy ETF that pretty much has majority of those stocks in there. And
Yeah, that's true.
so that's one of the reasons why we kind of love ETFs. Now let me see if I could get my screen back. Hold on. There we go. That's one of the main reasons we look at ETFs. And another thing, when you see these low expense ratios, it's actually pretty cheap to invest in most ETFs. So not only you mitigate some of your risks, it's very cheap to invest in them, offer you diversification, and you can target certain industries. So that's one of the reasons we kind of look at that. And the cons, they are actively managed in there. Some ETFs do have higher fees, so you got to watch out for that. Um, and lack of liquidity in some ETFs kind of hinder some of the transactions, but I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So
Okay.
I don't
That's
know if you have
that's
anything to add to that or.
yeah, that's very good information there. So my but I have a question. Okay, my question is, um, when it comes to ETFs, okay,
Yep.
I remember you saying something about the expense ratio. We also went into a couple of their websites the last time that you can research some of them.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to the expense ratio,
Right.
um, just to clarify, is it when you put in 1,000 and that is when you begin to pay 1,000 or more, or even if you're buying it on fractional shares, you still have to pay that percentage in terms of the expense ratio on that?
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things we're going to look at was some like popular ETFs and kind of how to research those. So if I just
Okay.
kind of click on one of these links right here,
Hmm.
it's going to take us to Zach's. And one of the things, like we said, you want to kind of look out for is the expense ratio. So right here, let me make that bigger because it's a little different. Like with stocks, there's no expense ratios. If the stock is $10, you pay $10, you own the stock. With ETFs, there's expense ratios. So like if the longer you hold it, and a certain dollar amount, yeah, they're going to charge you for that. So right here, you see the expense ratio is 0.03%.
Okay.
So for every $1,000 you invest, you're pretty much paying what, 30 cents. You know,
Okay.
you could
So,
do
but
it
my
however you want. You could do 1,000, you could do 100, but it's 0.03% of whatever you invest in.
okay, okay. So that is what I wanted it to be clear to people to that because I remember somebody one time, a friend was asking me a similar question around that. He wanted to know whether the limit is to 1,000 and more, or even if I have 100 there or I have a 200 there, I'm still going to pay that at the end of the year.
Yep.
Uh,
I
okay.
just use 1,000. It's easy to do the math. Like
Yes,
when you
yes,
hear a
yes.
good example, you just stick with it, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
all I
That's
know,
true.
I got
Yeah.
to move the decimal place like one place, and I'm good. So
Yeah,
that's kind of how I do that.
yeah, that's cool.
So all right. So now that you know that ETFs are all about diversification, and you can mitigate some risks. Like I said, what are some popular ETFs? And so I got about five of them on here that we could kind of look
Hmm.
at.
Then I
Um,
have the third one in my E Trade account. I'm on the third one.
XLY,
Or is it
XLY,
Excel? Let me check. Either XLY or XLF. Which one is for the financial?
Finances XLF.
Yeah, that's the one that I think I have some few shares on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what's cool about this one, this is actually, I encourage a lot of people to really, really look at this ETF that we're looking at right now, because within the next year, if you play it right, buying a contract, and actually I'm going to teach you how to do some option trading. That's
Hmm.
coming up,
Yeah.
but you could literally get a 200 to 300% return within the next year on this particular ETF that we're looking at right now. So when we look at this, one of the things like we discussed to look at is the expense ratio. So for every thousand, we spend $1.30, which is not bad, which is actually pretty good. But you want to look at the holdings, so what exactly am I investing in, right? So if I was to invest in XLY, what holdings are in this company? And you can see right there that Amazon is number one, and it's weighted at 23.28%. So for every $100 that you invest in this ETF, essentially you're buying $23.28 of Amazon, followed by Tesla, followed by Home Depot. So you got to ask yourself, like, okay, Tesla's been doing very good lately, especially with being included in the S&P 500. And now that it's included in the index funds, a lot of these companies had to add it to the index, hence why it's in XLY. And the same thing with Amazon, they'll be doing pretty good. So just those two companies alone make up damn near 40% of this holding. So if you cannot afford Amazon and you can't afford, I don't know what Amazon is trading at right now, but I know Tesla's like at $700 or something like that. So Amazon is probably anywhere from 1,500 to 3K. Let's just see here real quick. Where you at, Amazon? Here we go. Yeah, 3,200, right?
Hmm.
So, all right, too many screens open. Hold on. All right, now we're back. So if you don't have the 3,200 to buy one share of Amazon or the 700 to buy Tesla, just go buy this ETF, and you pretty much got 40% of those two companies combined. Not excluding, well, including Home Depot and McDonald's, which are some very good companies as well, especially McDonald's. McDonald's is one of those companies, and Nike, that it's not really that volatile. It doesn't really shoot up or shoot down. It's pretty stable.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
much a cash
Talking
cow for
about
the most part.
That's true. Talking about McDonald's, I think I was reading a couple of weeks back that people just think they are only into food, burgers, and
Yep.
that alone, but it's one of the high companies, or one of the companies that have really diversified. They are into real estate a lot.
Yep.
Like they are into real estate a lot. So when you have the money there, it's not only about the food that you think probably people are buying. It's nice to have shares in a company or like an ETF like this. I bought few shares of that's not an ETF actually, but is it Peloton? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Peloton.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have one close to me. So anytime I'm passing by, I have that company. I'm like, yeah, this is my company,
There
I
you
have
go.
my,
That's how I
my
think about it.
money.
Yeah, that's my company. Like, all right.
Yeah. I have money in there. That they are working for me. When I see customers in line trying to go in there, I'm like, yeah, I have that confidence. Like they should be in line to, yeah. So XLY, I think I should really take a closer look at that
Mm,
because I see I see a lot of you have Target also there, right?
Target. That's a good. I mean,
Hmm.
just the fact that they have Lowe's and Home
Those
Depot.
Home Depot, that alone is wow.
That's big. Whenever there's tornado season, hurricane season, Home Depot does
Yeah.
good, Lowe's does good, and especially with, I feel like the U.S. is in big need of rebuilding their infrastructure, and that's one of the things I think Biden wants to do. I just think Home Depot and Lowe's, they're just great stocks to own, like long term. They really are.
Yeah. It's really, man, I've not really paid so much. Okay. I think I really have to look at this ETF very well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see what else we got on the list. So, all right. So let's look at these other two. Let's look at Hack. And hack is exactly what you think it is if you really think about it. So one of the craziest things that's been happening, it's been happening actually for a while, but I think it's getting a little bit more out of hand. It's these cybersecurity attacks. Years ago they just kind of attacked your personal computers, and that's why they put Norton antivirus and all that crap on your PCs. But now they're attacking the government, they're attacking these well-known
Man,
companies, and
everywhere, bro. Everywhere.
everywhere, everywhere. And so a lot of companies are really putting a lot into cybersecurity. Actually, not only companies but the government and countries as a whole, not just the United States, but China and Russia. And so you might want to look at a company called like Hack. It might take a while before it kind of blows up, but it's been slowly kind of moving up. And a lot of these names are maybe foreign to some people, but just off the top, most people should know what Cisco is. I know what
Hmm.
Splunk is. I don't know if most people know what that is. Palo, that rings a bell. We just talked about Norton LifeLock, so there you go. There's Norton. And so you might want to consider adding this one to your portfolio as well if you think cybersecurity, these cyber attacks are going to continue to get out of hand, and just investing in these for the future.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of the, and one beautiful thing about the ETFs is that you also get to see the weight of or the percentage of the ETFs. I mean, the
Yes.
company in there. Um, it's really broken down for you to see a lot
Yep.
of good stuffs there. Yeah.
So, so one thing else we're going to look at is okay. So, just besides these popular ETFs, and there's tons of ETFs, like how do you do research? Like, how do you find these ETFs?
Okay.
So we looked at Zacks, but there's actually some more websites. You can always go to Vanguard.
Hmm.
Vanguard is another good website to kind of look out for ETFs. And what's cool about Vanguard, it actually tell you what ETFs are and what's the difference between ETFs and mutual funds. But you can also go browse and look at some of these ETFs. Let's see how let me make this bigger. All right.
Yeah. Let me open it here on my laptop too to see.
So you can look at any ETFs for as like U.S. bonds. If the market is doing bad, a lot of people go to bonds, and so you might want to look into bonds and get an ETF. Um, some U.S. Large stocks. If you want to look at ETFs that are solely focused on growth, there's some.
Hmm.
They have dividend ETFs. So for those of you who want to focus on dividends or high yield dividends, there you go. The Russell 1000, mid caps. So I could go into later what large, mid, and small caps, but most people should get the gist. Or even if you want to invest in some international bond, they have an international bond ETFs, international stocks, as well, and some specialty ETLs and sectors. And we just got through talking about this. Literally every sector that we looked at on FinViz, you can actually invest in. And here's pretty much all the ETLs right here. So
Yeah.
what you want to do, energy, financial, healthcare, industrial, there you go. There's the ETF for that. So you could definitely use Vanguard. You can actually use iShares. That's another one. I like iShares.
iShares. Okay. Cool.
So if you go on FinViz, one popular ETF is IVV. That's owned by iShares.
IVV. Yeah.
Uh, and so you can actually go there and click on it as well to give you some more details, why you should invest in it, the net asset value, expense ratio. That's very, very low, 30 cents for every $1,000. And somewhere here probably should tell you the holding. So 506 companies is in this portfolio. And there we go. So look, Apple, there you go. Who works
Hmm.
at Apple? Look at there. Apple
Interesting.
and Microsoft and Amazon and Facebook. Pretty much Fang. When you hear Fang, that's what they're
Yeah.
talking about. Facebook,
Yeah.
Amazon,
Facebook
Apple,
and Apple,
Netflix,
Netflix,
Google, which is
Google.
Alphabet. So, and all of these are in this ETF right there. So,
Yeah.
and Berkshire and J, these are some very good companies. This is pretty much the S&P 500.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last one, we already looked at Zach's, but bar chart. All right, what's up with that warning?
Yeah. I think Bachelor will be using it almost in all our meetings, right? Like anytime we come
Yeah,
here,
starting to
it's a
use
very
bar chart
solid
a lot.
base. Yeah. You use that a lot.
So what I'm gonna look at is one that I actually personally invested in. It's XLK, the technology sector. And so what's cool about this is you could go over here and look at the constituents. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And same thing as holdings. And look what's at the top again, Apple and
Apple,
Microsoft. And that's
Microsoft.
why I invested in this. I actually own a option contract of Apple, but I invested in this ETF first because as you can see, 45% of this ETF is Apple and Microsoft. And those are two companies, in my personal opinion, that you just can't go wrong with, like long term. You
Yeah,
really can't.
yeah. These
And
are great companies, right? Great
yep.
companies.
And so you were just saying about 10 minutes ago how you think the financial industry is sector is going to do well. Well, hey, there
Mm-hmm.
you go. I'm good to go. There's Visa, there's PayPal,
Visa,
there's
yes.
Mastercard.
Yeah, and not to cut you, but I realized that because of the rise of Bitcoin in the past few weeks,
Hmm.
a place like PayPal, you can now buy Bitcoin in there. People
Oh
can buy,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
people
saw
can
that.
buy Bitcoins in there, and people are like really jumping on that. So I'm expecting most of this uh, individual companies to really go up, keep increasing. Um, Apart from that, also, I mean, their percentage keep increasing, and obviously this ETF is also really going to go up too. Yeah.
Yep. Not only that, look at that. You got Qualcomm in there,
Mm-hmm.
Nvidia. So whether you're looking into computer chips, gaming
Computer
chips,
chips,
there,
yeah.
there you go. It's all right there. That's where I really like this ETF. And in the following weeks, I'm going to teach you about option trading and how
Mm-hmm.
you actually there's this thing called quad witching where you can invest in these options and pretty much the average, if you choose the right ETFs, is about a 500% return.
Wow. Is it a
Just do the
quadruple
numbers.
witching or whatever they call it?
Yeah, yep, quad
Mm-hmm.
witching. To
Quad
sum
witching.
it up,
Okay.
it's pretty much a period that happens every 3 months when all four options kind of expire, and basically they give you new option dates. So basically, new option dates open, and it gives you new opportunities to invest and pretty much make a lot of money. So we're gonna go over that in the
Yeah.
next few weeks. So anybody who hasn't been joining, look, it's up to you. I can't
Yeah.
force you to make this money. But if you want to make it, just kind of follow us or follow somebody.
Yeah. Do you know what interesting about chat that anytime you open it, I see and I laugh. You see companies pushing up their adverts there. I can see Nike all over the place. So it's up to you whether you want to buy a Nike sneaker or buy a little bit of a Nike sneaker and buy a little bit of a Nike shares.
Yep.
you know.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I mean, because of these damn cookies, man. I've been buying Jordans lately, so that's why these Nikes keep popping up. I literally bought like 3 pairs of Jordans in the last month or so.
Good.
I've been
Okay.
going to Nike.com like every other day. I've been buying these retros, so yeah, they can stop with the advertisement. I'm already sold. All right. So those are just three websites you could go to do some research. And like we told you earlier, things to consider when you're looking at ETFs, it's expense ratio, what's in its holdings, and the risk potential ratings. Just most of these ETFs have ratings. So we're not going to go into REITs. We're going to cover that next week.
Yeah.
That's all about ETFs. I don't know if anybody's online. If you do, feel free to ask questions. But if not, if you got anything to add, we're going to go into just some things to look out because it's a new year. Some
Mhm.
directions you can be going for us the investment market, and maybe some stocks that I've been looking at and you've been looking at that we could kind of talk about.
Sure.
So,
Sure. I I think that was a very solid one. It's something that people should look out for. But another question that I also have is in a typical portfolio that anybody has, or one should have, how many ETFs are you supposed to probably have in a portfolio so that your profits don't end up paying all expense ratios? So that that kind of
all
a
right.
thing. Yeah. What's
Well,
your thought on that?
I mean, you can have as many as you want. If it's kind of hard for your profit to be eaten up by expense ratios unless you pick some ETFs with some very high expense ratios. Very
Okay.
high. And you have to spend a lot of money in order for that to happen. And that ETF will literally have to crash. So I mean, because think
Okay.
about it. One ETF we looked at, the expense ratio was 0.03%. That's 30 cents per $1,000. So like,
For $1,000. Yeah.
if you, I don't know, you spend
Mhm.
1,000, and you spent that 30 cents. That's
Yeah,
hopefully that
that's
won't make or break you.
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Okay.
even if
I
you spend
mean, like,
10,000 and it's what is that, like $3? That $3. If you got 10,000 to invest, that $3 shouldn't hurt you.
yeah, yeah. That's true. I think apart from that, basically, like almost everything looks okay. I always say that at least apart from having some individual stocks, try have some ETFs, just as we just talked about. It's a very good way of having a broad selection of companies in one basket. Let's put it that way. Just
Hmm.
as we said, yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You have individual stocks. You have couple of or broad um, companies in another basket. So you have different baskets, so that in case some are going up. When I look at my portfolio, typically in E-Trade, I see that sometimes some of the stocks are in red, some are in green. So there's always a balance somewhere, you know,
Right.
yeah, due to the ETFs and stuff like that that are also in there. So I would say it's a good thing to have. People should just have it. Let's know if you have any questions also that probably we've not talked about, and you can always put it in the comment, and we can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. So I figure we'll leave off with, of course, in the end we'll do a Q&A. But well, actually we're in Q&A now. But one stock that you're
Hmm.
right now you're invested in that you want
Yeah.
to share with the group, and one stock that you're thinking about investing in. So I'll go first with the stock that I'm invested in that I'm hoping performs well this upcoming week, and it's
Okay.
Neo. And actually, it's funny. I've been watching Neo for a while. I literally was not going to invest. But actually, someone who paid me, Paulin, my good friend in Bosnia, he was just so big on Neo, and he asked me to do kind of like a report. And I sent him the report, and I was looking at it, I was like, man, like this is a good company. And because of him, I started paying more attention to it, and I actually bought an option contract about 2 weeks ago. I think I'm up maybe 150 on that option contract, and uh, today they announced news that they kind of beat some of the expectations. I think they delivered. Here we go. Deliveries went up 121% compared to last year. Um, and so not only is that good news, but they have this thing called Neo Day, where it's kind of like, I guess, their version of Apple. What is Apple Day? Apple Day or whatever, where they'll announce their new products or new services, whatever.
Yeah.
That is this Saturday. So combined with the release of them, beating expectations and Neo Day coming up, I'm really crossing my fingers that this week is going to be a very good week for Neo. Me personally, if you want to invest in it and if you're thinking about buying an individual stock, I mean, look at the 5-day chart. You can kind of see it's went up, but then it kind of went down a little bit. Um, I will watch this first thing tomorrow in the pre-market to see if it shot up. If it shoot up in the pre-market 10, 20%, wait before you just invest, because usually, like if you look at this 1-day chart, hopefully that's big enough. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Sometimes when you look at these 1-day charts, some stocks when they open at 9:30, they just kind of shoot up, but then what goes up must come down. So you can kind of buy on a dip. Or, if a stock goes up a lot in the pre-market, sometimes when it opens, it just tanks, and then eventually it kind of bounces back up. So me personally, if you're going to invest, I will wait for it to kind of go down throughout the day. That's usually sometimes in that first hour or sometime around lunch. Um, yeah, and then take a position. If you're going to do the option, then yeah, you just got to wait at the lowest point in the day to kind of buy it. And I would buy, maybe it's up to you, probably that 2023 option. Actually, just look at it real quick. Depending on you, I just like to give myself more time. So I think I am in the 2023, and my strike price is $65. And so I think I paid 17.25 per option. So you can see right now it's at 19. Actually, what was the last one? Yeah, the last price was 1970, so that's kind of why I'm up on this one right there. So that's my pick of the week, Neo.
Yo, that's cool. Funny enough, I have a couple of new.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember a friend. We're discussing it like somewhere last year, and when he told me to buy new was at it was very low, if I could remember.
Let's go back to
Ah,
the 1 month. Was this a month ago
no,
or about?
no, 2 months ago, two
Okay.
months
So that was
either
about November-ish, October-ish.
no
So probably around
October,
like
December,
30. Yeah, about
go
anywhere
all
from
the way
30
back.
to. So this is a 6 month. So this goes all the way back to July. So
July.
right
Yeah.
around
So
here.
I think my birthday was somewhere in July. So August, somewhere in August, we were talking about it. How much was that in August? Somewhere in
Oh, in
August.
August. Yeah, let's see here. 14 around.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I remember we were around. Where this guy was like, Kaiser, no, you need to buy this. I'm telling you, buy this, buy it, buy this, buy it. And I was like,
Yeah.
what company is this? Let me quickly probably. I didn't even pay close attention to it until it went into the 20s. I'm like, I'm joking on this thing. Into the
Yeah.
30s, and man, equity is like right now where new is, and it looks like it's a company that is really going to give Tesla a very good run if they are able to do some good reports.
Yeah.
So it's one of the companies that people should uh, really look at. I personally, I don't think I've seen any of their cars yet. Like, you know, it's a China-based company, right?
Yeah, it's a Chinese. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen like one. They got like sedans or whatever. Yeah, it's
Here in
okay.
America, you've seen one?
No, I mean I've seen it online. No, not
Okay, yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
never seen it in person.
yeah.
Right.
Unlike the Tesla that, like, where I live, I kind of see Tesla like every 2 minutes moving around, like,
It
you
looks
know.
like a Mazda. I mean,
hmm Yeah, it looks like super pretty car.
they're decent. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, that's very nice. I'm waiting to see one actually, but so far as they are able to deliver, who cares?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
what's also cool about them is this Neo House because they have other services, kind of like Tesla,
hmm
like solar power
solar power. Yeah.
and providing these charging stations. I don't know if you ever seen this video. I mean, we don't have to watch the whole video, but this is a pretty cool video how they pretty much changed out the battery. Uh,
Mm.
it
So how?
literally drops it down, unscrews it, and I
Oh,
think that's
okay.
throwing another battery in there. And I think the
Okay.
whole process takes like 3 minutes. Like you're in and out.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool video.
Wow. I mean, for most of these companies, they will not only probably concentrate on just car production or something, but they'll go beyond that. Like the way people think Tesla, it's only a car company. Like, no,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
it goes beyond. It's a whole technology. Sometimes I look at some of the tweets of Elon Musk on Twitter. I'm like, this man is something else.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
he says things to spike the whole thing and all that. But you can see that they go beyond that. So if Neo also is going in that same direction, you are looking at, if you're talking about Neo House, we're talking about batteries. That also should bring people's mind to some of these battery companies. I've been looking at some of them for some days now, like EV batteries and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I saw one recently. Is it Blink?
Yeah. It is Blink. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds very familiar. Yeah.
yeah. I think Blink. Yeah, and people are like really talking a lot about it. I had to really sit there and look at it very well, which to me I think is not bad. Yeah, so
Okay.
so New is a very good one to look at. People also say that sometimes you have to, in your portfolio, it's good to have some international markets also, stocks
Yep.
of international markets also there, so that uh, I think recently a company like a stock like Alibaba, they've been having some issues
They
in
have been having
China.
some
Yeah,
issues. Yeah.
yeah.
I think well, from what I've been reading, basically he's too rich. You know, when you get too rich, I don't think China likes that. When you get too rich, they think he's too powerful.
Too
I think he's been
powerful.
speaking back on the government a little bit, and they like, hey man, we not this China. We don't play that. Like, I think that's what's going on, especially with him trying to start that new company, Ant. They just like,
Yeah,
man, you just be too powerful, you know?
yeah. They just collapsed that one time. Like it was collapsed. I don't know to which extent they are even handling that thing now. Like people are really ready for their IPO and all that, but all of a sudden everything just went down. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's new. Okay, that's cool. For me, I would
What you
I
got?
would go for, yeah. I
What you want me
mean,
to type in here?
whatever. Well, I'll go for Target. Let's Target Corporation.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've been
Target
meaning to
Corporation.
invest in top. I slept on this one. It was on the radar. But okay, let's see what you.
Yeah,
I mean, why
yeah,
did you invest in Target?
yeah. I think before the Christmas, I entered in before the Christmas. It was around I entered in around one six something.
Hmm.
Which month? Yeah, that's 18. No,
Hmm.
keep going back now. Before Christmas, no, October. I was in around October.
Oh, around that time. Okay. Oh,
Mhm.
oh
Yeah,
wow.
September. Yes.
Somewhere around here. Okay.
So yeah, I was somewhere in there. So I just got a few, not much. I just got a few, and I basically went in there because I knew there was going to be um, Christmas from past stories.
Hmm.
What somebody would say precedents in terms of what has gone on before. You realize that here in America, Christmas is Christmas. People by all means be shopping. you know,
Yeah, you've been here. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We
No
can have
matter what, like
$10, but we're gonna come up with money for Christmas. Yeah, everybody getting what
yes,
they want. But yeah.
people will really be doing that. And there was a breakout story one time that I read about Tesla working to trying to work together with uh, Target for
Hmm.
so that they can have their their charging stations around some of their car parks also.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so that also rallied the whole thing
you know
up a
what?
little bit. I think I read that somewhere some months ago. So that is one of the reasons why, yeah,
What about this? What I
I
forgot about this. Now that you're talking about Target, what about this partnership? Ulta Beauty.
hmm,
So I don't know if you heard this one, but Ulta Beauty, their stock is actually pretty good. I was actually investing in this one point in time by accident, but I was actually investing in
wow.
it. Yeah, it's
What company is
287.
that?
They sell beauty products. So
Mm,
I think if you go to, I mean, they have an actually physical store. I cannot Sephora. I think it's called
yeah.
Sephora. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I know.
think they
Yeah, I know
own them
Sephora.
and a whole bunch of other beauty company products. But I mean,
You
this
mean they
stock,
own Sephora?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think so.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I got to go look at that. But the fact that they're working with Target, two of my favorite grocery stores was well in my top three besides Trader Joe's is Target and Kroger. I just like Target. It's just
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah,
No, no, that's all right. It's good to know. Like I didn't know they own Sephora. Is it that Sephora owns them or they own it?
I think Ultra owns. I think let's just look at this up. I think let's see. Or maybe it's another company that owns them. All right, I'll look that up and see. I forgot exactly who owned them, but I remember when this news came out that they were working out a strategic partnership. So that's a good investment. And I see one thing you just got you a well, not too long ago, got you a dividend check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what like I was just about to talk about. Like when you look at their dividend, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like dividend yield 2.75, for dividend yield 2.75. Um, apart from that, also, yeah, it's cool. Like you know, and when it comes to consumables, Target is also one place that people will always go. You know, and right now also because of the pandemic also they were really high on when it comes to deliveries pickups stuff like that, So
Okay.
people were really ordering online and all that. So their pickups were like very good. Um, they were really up to the tax because you have companies like Walmart. Um, Even on Yahoo Finance, you can see right there beside you. People also watch. You can see Yahoo Finance there right beside you. No, scroll down a little bit. Yeah, beside on your right hand side, you can see. I mean, you can
Oh,
see a Walmart. You can see Costco. You can see those like you can see BY also there, stuff like that to compare whatever that you want to do. But I think I went into that earlier on because it was I knew it was going to really go up as we go into the festive seasons. Yes.
okay.
Unless is there any other thing probably you would like to add to it? To
Bro, I think you hit it all. Yeah, I was just trying to see why you invested in all very good reasons. Very good reasons. And you're already
yeah.
up on this stock and yeah, it can only go up from this point. And sometimes even though this dividend is what 1.5%, and I know they pay
Mhm.
it out quarterly, so you probably got like what 0.4%.
Yeah.
If you put that in perspective, if you had $1 million and they paid you that 0.4%, that's like what 40 grand. you know, it's only 1.5% until you put some big numbers behind it. Then it adds
Yeah.
up very quickly.
Bro, gradually we'll get there. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna get there. I
that
was
is the
telling
plan.
somebody it's better to at least enter into the market when you know you don't have enough. And when you begin to have a lot, you can still go in there more. Like somebody's waiting to have like $100 million before they will start investing, or $200 million before. No, don't do that mistake. Like
Mm-mm.
I have learned, I've learned some few things. And even if you can enter with $1 or two or three, go in and do it. Yeah. So Target is one of my picks. Yeah.
I totally agree. Well, man, we got 4 minutes left. You
Hmm.
know how we like to try to keep this to an hour. We don't want to just bore
Yeah.
people with just hearing us
Yeah.
talk. But I will say that tomorrow the market opens. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a great year. I think the only thing that could stop this year is pretty much a new version of the COVID-19. That kind of hurt us. But other than
Hmm.
that, we should bounce back this year.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's probably going to be a state by state lockdown or there's going to be a general lockdown. Like I'm trying to
I don't
picture
think
how
so.
it's
I
going
mean,
to.
here in Texas, they said we're not doing no more lockdowns, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, for the most part,
Okay.
people wear masks, but when I went home to Arkansas, nobody had on a mask. So, you know, it's either one of the two. Either this vaccine gonna work, or we just all gonna die, man. Because
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that's true. In some places like here in Virginia, like the protocols are like really strict. For
Yeah.
example, I have people really recommending us as at Apple the kind of restrictions. I mean protocols that we have. It's like super strict. Like there are some type of marks that you cannot even enter into the store with.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you need to have like at least the required ones on yours to come into the store and all that. So it has been like a very good and trust me, like in places like this they are like super careful. Like in some buses are like for free now. If you don't have a mask, the bus driver is not going to move. He's going to be like, please put on a
Yeah.
mask before you come into the bus.
I don't blame
you
them.
know
Yeah.
so it's a very good thing. I don't think there is going to be a lockdown. I'm kind of hearing some funny issues around concerning some states locking down in April. I don't know how that is going to be like. Some lockdowns in April probably, but it all depends because I think UK is on lockdown now.
Yeah. The UK is on lockdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
when
have.
it went on one lockdown, it also affected the market a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's hope and see.
Yeah. And I do want to say this. I was part of another financial conversation, and it just kind of came up. And this is for like minorities, specifically African Americans. One of the things that we always talked about is and we know how we've have got an unfair deal here in America is reparations. And this guy made a very good comment that I feel like I should repeat. I don't feel like we're going to get reparations, but your reparations is actually in the stock market. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
if you think like that. And when he made that comment, it just kind of clicked, and it's like he's right. You know, I'm not saying blindly put your money in the stock market, but if you put your money in the stock market, and you do your due diligence, that's your reparations. That's our generational wealth. For minorities, and it's been working out for me. I'm pretty confident it's been working out for you, and I suggest other people look at it in that light as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very solid point there. I mean, brother, if we if we want to talk about generational wealth, we can go on and on and on and on. Like,
Yeah.
man, we can keep on going on and on and on until, uh, let me say, people of color or minorities, we shift. Just as you said, it's a mindset. We shift it from just being only a consumer and being an investor and invest in platforms like this. I've read, and sometimes some of the comments that you see online, you realize that it's the same comment but runs through different pages. And when you look at it closely, it's true. Own stocks, own real estate, own lands, own businesses. I mean,
Mhm.
this for you would hear it almost everywhere.
Yep.
Stocks, real estate,
Hmm.
lands,
Hmm.
business or entrepreneurship.
But
It will keep on. And trust me, for 100 years, this same statement will keep on keeping on. It will keep on going on. So whatever you're saying is you're 100% correct. And these are the platforms that you can also make something out, because we've explained earlier on, I think some weeks ago, when we're looking at money in banks and money in stock market, and it was so clear. You know, I
yeah.
sent the video. I sent the link of the video to a friend. No, I actually posted it on my status on WhatsApp, and somebody clicked on it, took the
Mhm.
person to the YouTube, and was like, he never thought his money in the bank couldn't make him anything like that. Like, I'm like, yeah, the money in the bank. If you have money there, man, don't, at least make sure some is growing for you, so that when you're asleep, you do something is moving for you. So, yeah.
I agree. Cool. Well, the last news is, besides, us going live, kind of educating people on the fundamentals, I think I want to do something similar to, what is it, ESL or EYL? EYL, Earn
Yeah.
Your Leisure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how they interview successful people. I
Hmm.
think sometimes when we're talking about stocks, people think they want to learn, but it's so boring, and they tune in for 5 or 10 minutes, and they just like, forget that. But when they see a successful person just kind of tell their story without any details, they're kind of
Hmm.
interested. And so
That'll
gonna
be
start
nice.
bringing on special guests either on
Yeah.
Sundays or another day, probably Sundays, just to switch it up. Whether it's Waltz in the Streets, Wall Street Trapper, some of those guys, and just say, look, tell us exactly what you did to attain your wealth.
Yeah.
And so
I,
people can see
I
like
hope
it's possible.
I hope I'll be kept live also here to ask them some of these questions. I would like to be on live to also ask them some of these questions. Like, tell us what is really working for you. Tell us what the main issue is, so that people can be. Because sometimes for somebody like Wall Street Trapper, I think I can track back to some of his interviews that he did that I
Yeah.
also watched online, and that is like quite very successful, hardworking gentleman, like who has really gone through the treadmill. He has really gone through the treadmill, and he has come out successfully in all that he's doing. I think at the point I bought one of his first courses, the introduction, like
Yeah.
way back,
Hmm.
and most of the things are basically what you're tackling here. You've said it, or is the same. And he's also into fundamentals a lot. Like, understand the fundamentals, understand the basics very well. Don't
I,
jump on something that you don't.
I
Yeah.
spent some money with him, and
Mhm.
it was money well spent. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody asks
Like,
me, I say, yeah, spend that money with Wall Street. He knows what he's talking about. But
yeah.
he actually changed my life. He was the first person I heard say, look, I heard people say I don't watch TV, but he was the first person who convinced me to kind of watch YouTube videos of CEOs like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger.
Mhm.
And I watched them like I'm watching TV. And I learned that from Wall Street. So
You see, that is right there. I bought a cap today, and I saw it. It's good you said that. Can you see what is written on the cap?
something teach to touch lives forever. To teach is to touch lives forever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that
Yeah.
cup. Yeah.
I saw it today. I'm like, I'm gonna grab this cup. Like,
Yeah.
it says a lot. You know, just he taught you something, and it has touch and change your life forever, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and that is the way it's supposed to be. Like, continue touching lives, continue. You will never know this video who it has gotten to, and the mind that is changing around the world or around the globe. So I really like those sessions. I like to be on to really ask them some few questions. I'll just come in as a minority. Hey,
Yeah, bro. You
which
know how we do it. I mean, if you got
yeah,
somebody you want to bring on, let me know. We
yeah.
can bring them on. I'll bring
Mhm.
somebody. I'm gonna start looking out for guests, so it's
Sure,
coming.
sure. Okay.
But, yeah, we'll conclude. You got anything else? I'm good.
Yeah. What I would say is let's just all hope for like a good week. Uh, Keep on learning. Learning never ends.
Yeah.
Keep on learning. Knowing more about companies. Keep on touching lives in our own small ways that we can do that. Yeah. For me, most of the time when we are done some of these videos, I just send the link to people. I'm like, hey, watch this.
Yeah.
What I tell them like, hey, watch this. When after watching, when if you don't understand anything, then call me or text me and
That's
let me
all you got to
explain
do.
to you. Yes.
Yeah.
If I don't have the answers to it, okay, I'll text Terry. I'll quickly call him. He
Hmm.
will explain it to me. I'll copy it. I'll send it to you. I'll let you know. So that we keep the information going out there, like stuff like that. So that's what it is. Yeah.
All right, brother. I know we'll talk probably sometime this week, but
Sure.
other than
Yeah.
that, I know we'll be back on next Sunday or the following Sunday. So to then,
Yeah. But before we go, can you talk a little bit about your Roku channel thing for people to really look at that?
okay. So between me and you, let's log off and we'll log back on because it's a
Good.
big project and it's kind of
Sure.
private, and I'll
Cool.
fill you in.
Sure. Sure.
I'll send you the link in about 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.